All right, Rippers. I know you guys have been asking. It's been a long time since we've had the hunt for ammo video because ammo's been pretty steady and prices have been coming down. And quite honestly, there are things on sale, especially this time of year. Now's the time of year to get stocked up or give ammo as a gift, right? Perfect gift for the guy who has everything because he never has enough ammo, right? Right. So that being said, there were some clearance ammo and stuff at Sportsman's, and so be looking out there for all the deals on. There's sales, even though the Black Friday is over and all that. They keep having sales upon sales upon sales. So I'm going to show you some of them. One, this ammo right here, HSM, which honestly, I like this ammo. It's always been kind of expensive, but they're clearancing it out. So go check it out if you want some. What I love about this ammo, and I got a box of 308. 165 grain, that's the 308 I like to shoot if I can get it. And it has the Game Changer bullet in it, which is a Sierra Game Changer in there. So it's kind of like a ballistic tip type of thing, boat tail, very accurate bullet, good shooter, 2,743 feet per second. Great bullet, great performer. You can't go wrong, especially when it's on closeout or clearance, right? That is a cool thing. Now, they also had a box of 7mm 08, which is another one of my favorite rounds, right? This is the one that me and my brother built 7mm 08s when he was in, believe it was like just the end of grade school, right? Or right in that time, we did a science project, and he reloaded ammo for the science project, and he got A's across the board. It was really cool, and he built his own ammo, which he still uses that rifle today and has bagged some beautiful Axis deer that I'll put some pictures up from in Hawaii where he lives with his family. They go hunting. I think that's great. I hope to be able to go hunting with him there sometime too, because they got good hogs as well. But the terrain is pretty darn rugged. One reason I've been in the gym, right, is to get all able to do that. Now, this is 7mm 08. It's 140 grain Burger hollow point boat tails. Burger is a super, and it's the hunting VLD bullet, so it's probably bonded. Burger makes another one, besides Sierra, makes another one of some of the most accurate ammo out, or bullets out there, as far as their ballistic coefficients. So this is a great bullet, and it was on clearance. So how cool is that, right? Now, for practice, of course, you want to be able to get out there and have some of yourself some cheap ammo. So here's your 7.62 by 51 NATO, which is 308 at 147 grade full metal jacket boat tail. So you wouldn't want to necessarily hunt with this, but it is a great round to have in like your AR-10s or a round to use for just going out and practicing because it's really inexpensive. It's good to see this stuff coming back out again. And the X-Tac there from PMC. Haven't had any problems with it myself, so that's a good thing. Now, another one of my favorites, as you guys know, is this new subsonic from Hornady. It's the 300 Blackout in 190 grain subsonic. So you don't have to shoot the big old 200, 220 grainers in order to get subsonic. And I love the fact that it's a controlled expansion bullet, right? So that way it holds its your density of the bullet, right? It holds its weight, and that flex tip helps it from keeping things like heavy jackets and stuff like that from clogging it up so that it doesn't expand, right? And not only that, it also is great. I like this for home protection right there. That's a great home protection ammo. It's moving at, what is it here? 1,050 feet per second. So it's right at the cusp of that subsonic range. So you're getting all you can get and yet quiet if you run a can, which I do. Now, some of your varmint loads, which is something, if you think about it, if we're going to be in emergency situations, well, we might have to deal with varmints or critters and things like that, coyotes and stuff that'll be roaming around. Well, that being said, of course, really great round that a lot of people got real popular with a lot of people is this 17 HMR, right? So because it was, could be built on a 22 size platform, 2,550 feet per second because it shoots this little tiny. Look at that cute little guy. That little tiny 17 grain bullet. Look at that. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. But and it has no recoil and whatnot. Flat shooting is all get out, so it takes a lot of the error out of your shots, you know, if you're maybe not as practiced as you should be. And then the old school guy, the 22 Win Mag at 2,250 feet per second with a 30 grain bullet. Now this is shooting a 17 grain bullet. Nice thing about this is if you're wanting to use pelts and things like that, this usually doesn't have an exit hole and does the job without destroying the pelt coming out and in, right? Just tiny little hole. The 22 does a good job at that too. That's the old classic, right, on Win Mag. And now they even have it in this little cute, look at that little cute ballistic tip on there. Isn't that cute? Anyway, so that's another great option to pick up while you're out there as a stocking stuffer because the boxes are nice and small. But then my favorite is this guy right here, the 17 Winchester Super Magnum. It's a 20 grain bullet, so it's kind of in between the two, but it's moving at 3,000 feet per second on a rimfire. That is cool. It uses like a nail gun style. I think this original case came from a nail gun. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, because, you know, I'm human. I could be wrong. But if I remember right, that's from a nail gun type of case there, or a concrete nailer or something. And then they necked it down to 17. And look at that. It's a nice bigger compared to this one. See the difference? Now, it still doesn't have much recoil, but it has a whole ton more speed to it. And this is a great varmint round. This thing performs like you wouldn't believe. It usually comes in a heavy barrel. Even if the barrel isn't a heavy barrel, it's still, for a 17, is pretty heavy and very accurate. Very accurate. This one cuts the wind a whole lot better as well, too. So be sure to check that out. They had some of that come in, which I think is great. Then, of course, they always have their boxes of X-Tac, which is that one, and this one. Now, the difference is this is just your everyday X-Tac 62 grain green tip, so it's M855, you know, and it's always good to have a bunch of this on hand. It has all kinds of uses, and it's usually pretty affordable. So that is one option for your 5.56 or your 223. Well, depending, you guys know that whole story about 5.56, 223, you know, check another video. But anyway, so there's that X-Tac there. But then another good option, now that 62 grain will do good in most barrel twists, except you're really fast or really slow, but it fits the most wide range. But another good one here is this 75 grain boat tail hollow point. This thing performs like you wouldn't believe. People are loving how this performs. It's super accurate. Now, it says this one was tested from a 20-inch barrel using and it says not for use in a 223 chamber. So be sure to read your boxes. It's moving at 2,910 feet per second. That's pretty darn fast for your a 75 grain bullet. So that's great. This will do well in a bullet twist. On these heavier bullets, you want a barrel twist rate of, you know, the 1 in 7 it works really good in. And I wouldn't go much lower than 1 in 9 twist, although it'll shoot in any of them. But if you want your best accuracy, you're going to want to be in that 1 in 7 twist rate, 1 in 8, 1 in 9, things like that. So, but this thing is a performing monster. So always have a few boxes of that on hand in those heavier bullets. They cut the wind better. They're more, ballistic coefficient is better. They're more accurate, have a little bit more knockdown out at a further range. Always good stuff. Always good time to pick up the hard to find ammo, the 380, which I don't get because 9mm everywhere, yet 380 they seem to think is gold. But here we have our range dynamic and our Aguila. They're both budget brands, 95 grains usually, all of them moving just under 1,000 feet per second. Little difference in bullet shapes, but they're always usually full metal jacket. And it's always good to pick up a box of that when you can for your little micro carries, your little backup guns, right? And then they had this on the clearance aisle, which is the Spear Lawman, which is always good ammunition, especially if it's in the discount or clearance aisle, which is crazy. 45 grain, they had a box of it. 230 grain TMJ, which I think means total metal jacket. I call it full metal jacket, but there you go. So that's always a good one. Then you have your 9mm here in this new Winchester USA Ready 9mm defense load, 124 grain plus P ammunition, so make sure your gun can shoot plus P. This is the new defense load that they have, right? And it is a hollow point with a little rubber ball in there, and it just is made for controlled expansion and going through heavy jackets and stuff. Really great stuff, 1,200 feet per second. Get yourself a box of that. And then another good one that was in the clearance aisle was this Barnes TAC XPD. So this is a solid copper bullet, big hollow point on it, 115 grain, moving at 1,125 feet per second, a plus P rated round too, so make sure your gun's plus P. What I like about this is it's a copper jacket on here. It's a solid copper bullet, but it's also got a coating on it that helps it feed and helps keep it from fouling the gun or your pistol, which is this Technicrom plated cases. Feeds, well, that's the case here, feeds here, and then this is like a millennium, or I can't even say it, but there's a coating on that bullet that makes it nice and slick as well. So then this was on the clearance aisle, which I couldn't believe. This is my old favorite. This is for a 40 Smith & Wesson. Go ahead, make your jokes. I used to love carrying 40. I thought it was the way to go. Still do in some ways, but this was, I wish I could have found this in 9mm, but 180 grain, BJHP. That's funny. Anyway, it's a bonded bullet. It's if you've ever seen, there you go. It used to be the performing king, the Golden Saber. It's what everybody wanted after they said we couldn't have the black talons, which quite honestly, black talons weren't all as good. I think these were better. But always good to pick out some Golden Saber when you can find it, especially on sale, especially in 40 cal. Now, the last two, whenever I go into a place, I buy me some 22 ammo. And there we go. You get a box of the cheap ones right here that are 40 grain bullets, moving at a standard velocity, it says. So I don't know what standard velocity is, but probably around, you know, like, I don't know, 1,200 feet per second. And it's cheap, $3.99 a box. This one here is not so cheap, but it was in the clearance bin, so it's a time to pick it up. It's a TAC 22 made by Norma. Norma always makes good ammo. 40 grain bullet, moving at 1,083 feet per second, so that's just a tiny bit over supersonic, but not really. So this would be a good one for your can, because it'll be quiet, but also have lots of velocity, but not over velocity, right? So get out there, hunt for your ammo, have a good Christmas. Be making sure to love and cherish all of your loved ones. They are the most important things in your lives. Spend every minute you can with them. Turn the phones off. Don't you dare watch this during Christmas. And until next time, if I don't see you, have a happy, Merry Christmas. Loved your loved ones. Be always aware and of your surroundings. Be safe, secure, and always prepared and ready for anything that may come your way. And until next time, and always carry. Until next time, adios and aloha.